So today we will discuss about the converse of the Hine-Borel theorem. So what was the Hine-Borel theorem? The statement was, let S be a closed and bounded subset of R, then every open cover of S has a finite subcover. It is the Hine-Borel theorem. Now the converse of the Hine-Borel theorem, that means a compact subset of R is closed and bounded. So before starting the proof of this theorem, here we will discuss about the compact set. So what is the compact set? Look, suppose this is your S, which is the subset of R, and script G, this is open cover of S. This is the open cover of S. Now take a finite subcover from G. That is, suppose it is your G prime. If this G prime or the finite subcover, if this G prime is also the finite subcover of S, then that S is said to be the compact set. Clear? So what is the compact set? This is your S, which is a subset of R. Now this G, this is the open cover of S. What we have to take? We have to take a finite number of elements from this script G. Okay, finite number of elements. Now if that finite number of elements also cover S, then you know it is called the finite subcover. Now if that S has some finite subcover, then that set is called the compact set. Clear? So sometimes the statement of the Hine-Borel theorem be like that, a closed and bounded subset is a compact set. Clear? So again I am telling what is the compact set. A subset S of R is said to be a compact set if every open cover G of S has a finite subcover. Okay, clear? Now come to the converse of the Hine-Borel theorem. So what is the statement here? The statement is, a compact subset of R is closed and bounded. That means if we take S, this is the subset of R, this set is your compact set. It is given. That means this set has a finite subcover. What we have to show? We have to show S is closed and number 2, S is bounded. Here, what we have to show? First we have to show S is closed, and second one, S is bounded. What is given? S, this is your compact set. This is the compact set, it is given. Clear? So what is the meaning of the compact set? That means if script G, this is an open cover of S, then from this script G we will have a finite subcover of S. And what we have to show? We have to show S is closed and S is bounded. So we will do one by one. So first we here prove that the second condition, that is S is bounded. Clear? So how we will prove this? S is bounded. Suppose in place of S we are taking K. K is compact. Okay. Then what we have to show? We have to show this K is closed as well as K is bounded. Okay. Now first we will show here K is bounded. This one first we put this. Second condition, that is K is bounded. So to prove this, here look, I am constructing a set In. What is In? In is the set of all x such that x is real number and minus n strictly less than x, strictly less than n, where n belongs to the set of natural number. This. What is the meaning of this? It is like this. That means, suppose it is your 0. So minus 1 to 1. If we take n is a natural number. So if we take 1, this set, this open interval from minus 1 to 1, it is your I1. What is I1? I1 is minus 1 to 1, open. I2, this is minus 2 to 2. Yes, I2, minus 2 to 2. Similarly, if we go in this way, then we have what is In? In is open interval minus n to n. Okay. And let script G, that is this G, what is this G? This is the set of all In such that n belongs to the set of natural number n. Clear? Here I am constructing two sets. First one is your In. What is In? In is the set of all x such that this, it is, the figure is like this only, that is I1 equal to your open interval minus 1 to 1, I2 is minus 2 to 2 minus n to n. And these all I1, I2, In, all are the open intervals, and you know all the open intervals are the open set. So these In all are the open set, and here I am constructing a set of open sets, that is script G. What is script G? Script G is set of all In, n belongs to set of natural number n. Clear? Okay. Then from here it is clear R is the subset of union of In, n belongs to 1 to infinity, or set of natural number you can say. Look, here it is your minus n, then minus n plus 1, minus n plus 2, minus n plus 3. That means if we take that union, that is I1 union I2 union I3, then this total R becomes the subset of this one. Clear? And what is given? K is the compact set of R. That means K is the subset of R, it is given. K is the what we have? K is the subset of R, it is given. And from here, R is the subset of union of this. That means from here we can easily say that K is the subset of union of I n equal to 1 to infinity. Okay. That means if this happens, then from here we can say script G, this is an open cover of S. Can you say this? Definitely this script G is the open cover of S. Sorry, and this is K, as we take the set as your K. So this G is an open cover of K. Now K is your compact set. That means if this G is an open cover of K, that means this K has some finite subcover. Finite subcover means from this script G we will get some finite number of open intervals which also contain, if we take their union, then it also contains ik. Is it clear? So suppose from here we are taking G script. What is G script? That is finite subcover. Okay, finite subcover of what? Of K. Is it clear? Okay, so as this script is your finite subcover, that means it contains finite number of open sets. Suppose those open sets are I R1, I R2, I R3, I Rn. Clear? This. And this is the finite subcover of K. So this K is the subset of I R1 union I R2 union dot 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 union I Rn. Because if we take their union, then K will be contained in this union. Clear? Okay. Now consider this R1, R2 up to Rn and take their maximum of this. Suppose this is your P. What is P? P is the maximum of R1, R2 up to Rn. Then definitely this IR1 is the subset of IP, IR2 is the subset of IP, and IRM, this is also the subset of IP. Clear? Okay. Now each of them individually are the subset of IP. So if we take their union, that is IR1 union IR2 union IRM, this is also the subset of IP. Is it clear? This is also the subset of IP. But look here, K is the subset of this union, and here this union is the subset of IP. That means from here we can easily say K is the subset of IP. Is it clear? K is the subset of IP. What is IP? IP, this is the open interval minus P to P. That means if this K is a subset of this open interval, that means if we take any element, look here, look at the diagram, this is your minus P to P and this is your K. Now K is contained in this open interval. That means if we take any element from the set K, then it is always lies between minus P to P. That means for any element y taken from K, we can say that minus P is less than y is less than P. Clear up to this part? Okay. Now if this happens, then what we have? Then definitely we can say this P minus P is the one of the lower bound of K, and this P is one of the upper bound of K. That means from here we can say K is bounded. Clear? That is the second one is proved. Clear up to this part? Okay. Now the remaining question is what we have to show in the second part. In the second part we have to show that what? K is closed. This one we have to show. So you know a set K is said to be a closed set if it contains all its limit points. Okay. So what we have to show? K is closed. Okay. Look, we will prove this by the contrapositive method. Okay. counterpositive method. Okay, so to prove this, let y belongs to r minus k. That means like this only. This is your, suppose, real number r. This is the compact set k. Suppose y is taken from here, because r minus k means excluding this part, this side and this side, at the r minus k. From here we are taking y. Okay, and we are constructing the collection of open sets or the sequential. How? Look at the construction. I1 is the set of all x such that mod of y minus x, it is strictly greater than 1. That means we have to take all those x. Okay, we have to take all those x whose distance from y is strictly greater than 1. I2, this is the set of all x such that mod of y minus x, this is strictly greater than half. Okay, next, similarly I3, this is the set of all x such that y minus x strictly greater than 1 by 3. In the same way, what is the definition of I1? This is the set of all x such that mod of y minus x, this is strictly greater than 1 by n. Here. Okay. Now, if we take their union, that is union of In, n equal to 1 to infinity, test, then is it equal to r minus singleton set y? It is obvious. This union equal to r minus singleton set y. Okay, and if we take, and definitely k be also the subset of union of n equal to 1 to infinity. Clear? Okay. Now here again I am taking a set script G. What is script G? Script G is the set of all n such that n belongs to the set of natural number n. Okay. Then from here we can easily say that script G, this is open cover of K. This is the open cover of K. Now if this is the open cover of a K and K is your compact, K is the compact set, then what we have from this script G, we have a finite subcover of K. This script G will be the finite subcover of K. That means this script G contains finite number of open intervals. So consider those intervals as, that is script G, this is the set of all I R1, I R2, dot dot dot, I R M. This is not the same with the previous open sets. Okay, this is where you can take IP1, IP2, anything, IPM or IS1, IS2, IS3, anything. These are the simply notation. Okay, so script G prime is equal to place. Here, and K is the subset of IR1 union IR2 union dot 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 union IRN. Why? Because this is the finite subcover. So if we take their union, then K will be the subset of this. Clear? Okay. Now again, what is P? P is the, take those numbers R1, R2 up to Rn and take their maximum. consider that as your P. Clear? Therefore, it is again IR1, this is the subset of IP, and same IRM, this is also the subset of IP. So if they individually subsets of IP, therefore their union, that is IR1 union IR2 union of IRM, this is also the subset of IP. Okay, now K is the subset of this, and here the union is the subset of IP. From this, we can easily say that K, this is also the subset of IP. Is it clear? Okay, that is K is the subset of IP. Clear? And what is IP? IP is the set of all x such that mod of y minus x, it is strictly greater than 1 by p, and k is contained in this. Here, now look here, I am considered another set G, simply G only. This is the set of all x such that mod of y minus x, this is strictly less than 1 by p. It is strictly less than 1 by p. Okay, so from this, can we say G is the neighborhood of y? Definitely G is the neighborhood of y. Also look, if you look at the K and G, here, if this is your K, if it is your IP is contained in this, okay, this one, and G is all those x which is less than 1 by p. That means if we take G intersection K, it is also fine. There is no, because here we are taking all those elements which are greater than 1 by p. Here, strictly less than 1 by p. So, intersection is fine. So, if intersection is phi, that means this neighborhood G does not contain any element of K other than y. This G, that is the neighborhood, does not contain any point of K other than y. If this happens, then y is not a limit point of K. Y is not a limit point of K. So if y is not a limit point of K, then what happened? Now look, y taken from r minus k, and from here we are getting that y does not belongs to, y is not a limit point of K. That means definitely from here you can say y does not belongs to the derived set of K. That is, from, look here, y is taken from this, implies y does not belongs to K prime or the derived set of K. So what is the contrapositive of this one? That means if we take, that is contra positively, what we will have, if y taken from K, if y taken from K, this implies y belongs to K dash. That means if we take from y, then y becomes a limit point of K. Now if y becomes a limit point of k and y belongs to, what is y? Y belongs to k. Y belongs to k. Is it clear? Okay, so if y belongs to k, then y belongs to k dash. Now you know k dash, this is the subset of k. Sorry. Now look, if y belongs to k and this implies y belongs to k prime. Sorry. I did something wrong here from this part. Okay, here y belongs to r minus k implies that y does not belongs to k prime. So what is the contra-positively what we have? Contra-positively what we have? If y belongs to k prime, the opposite of this one, if y belongs to k prime, this implies y does not belongs to r minus k. If this happens, then y does not belongs to this. What is the contra-positive? If y does not belongs to this, then if y belongs to this, then y does not belongs to this one. So if y does not belongs to this one, from here y belongs to k. Now y is taken from k dash, and here we are getting y belongs to k. From this we can say k prime, this is the subset of k. Okay, that is a derived set, is a subset of k. So definitely from here we can say k is closed set. Clear? This completes the proof, because the second one we have to show that k is closed. Here we already proved that k is closed. Okay, so again I am telling from this part, here I did one mistake. So up to this part I think it is clear to all of you. Okay, now what is the contra-positively what we have? Look, if y belongs to this implies y does not belongs to this. So what is the contra-positive of this one? If y belongs to k dash, then y does not belongs to r minus k. So if y does not belongs to r minus k, then what we have? Y belongs to k. Okay, now y belongs to this, and we have y belongs to k. That means k prime, this is the subset of k. That is the derived set is a subset of k. That means if derived set is a subset of k, derived set of k is the subset of k, then definitely k is a closed set. So in the first part we already proved that k is bounded, and in this part we proved that k is closed. That means if k is your compact set, then k is closed as well as k is bounded. Okay.